I've come to the crux of what I wanted to convey, the quality of teachers and the quality of teaching. That takes me directly to the attitude. Unless and until we have a global attitude in the teaching environment, mainly by the teachers, all these schools will just disappear like a bubble, soap bubble. Like a soap bubble, they will disappear. Hi everyone. National Education Policy and Total Quality Management Schools, TQM schools, that has to be synchronized with the attitude of educators, which includes teachers, school management, principals. That's what we're going to discuss today. Let me give a simple example. Supposing I give this to you, how many of you will take it? In fact, a couple of weeks ago, I was cleaning up my cupboard. I have a whole pack of the C90 cassettes unopened. I should have forgotten to use it. If I offer it, who will take it? Or let me give another example. This is a mobile phone which I purchased when this model came first. And I was using it. If I offer this to you, how many of you will buy it? It has lost its relevance. Why? Simple. Technology has changed. As simple as that. Now let me read the National Education Policy. The aim must be for India to have an education system by 2040 that is second to none, with equitable access to the highest quality education for all learners regardless of social or economic background. Now, I have read it from the National Education Policy. In fact, I would have read this document several times to understand the implications of this document to the survival of schools. Like this product disappeared. Like this phone will not have any more demand today. This is a very good phone, even today. If you want to use it only for the purpose of making calls, this is called excellent phone. Right? Nothing wrong with this. But those who want more facilities of connectivity, there are other options available. As an educationist for the past nearly more than 3.5 decades, myself or rather, we have been working in schools. There was a time maybe about 10-15 years ago, there was a system of teaching. The criticism about those schools were called broiler chicken schools. A lot of debates came on the television. A school system where students were taken after the 10th standard or even after the 9th standard, really drilled, coached from morning 4 o'clock to midnight 12 o'clock, made them to produce result, score marks, highest mark. And parents admitted their children there. And many scored highest mark and got admitted into engineering, medical colleges. Even today, there are coaching centers specially designed for IIT coaching. I'm not questioning any of them. But we need to look at the future of education, the future of the expectations of parents. When you talk about globalization, nowadays you see a lot of signboards. Global schools, smart schools, international schools. How much international are they other than from the signboard? Will they pass the test of quality as we progress into internationalization of education? Because this is what the policy document says. Let me take you through what's called the 4 pillars of education or 4 pillars of learning by UNESCO. As you will see, the 4 pillars of learning are learning to know, learning to live together, learning to do, learning to be. Learning to know means acquisition of knowledge. For example, literacy, numeracy, critical thinking. Then we have the core subject, maths, physics, chemistry, biology, accountancy, computer science, history, geography, economics, all that. That is only one of the pillars of education or one of the pillars of learning. The second pillar you would have seen, learning to live together. Learning to live together means social skills. How do you respect others? How do you mutually coexist? These skills would enable individuals and societies to live in peace and harmony. Now look at what is happening in the society today. Now, as we go along, we need to be living in such a society. We need to create such a society. The third pillar is learning to do. Learning to do involves acquisition of skills that will enable individuals effectively to participate in the global economy and society. These skills are often linked to occupational success, such as vocational and technical training. I'm reading it from the document. Apprenticeship and leadership and management competencies. Actually, this is the only pillar which is relevant today. Why do we send our children to schools? Why do we make them to score highest mark in the board exam? To get a seat in the professional college? Why do we want the best of the colleges? Because we want them to get a degree. Why do we want a job? Learning to do. And the last pillar is learning to be. Again, I read from the document. It involves activities that promote holistic personal development, body, mind, and intellect for an all-round complete person. This includes cultivating one's self-analytical thinking, social skills, creativity, personal discovery, and an appreciation of the inherent value provided by these pursuits. An example under this is a teacher who participates in training workshops that will enhance his or her knowledge and skills in the teaching learning process. Now, I've come to the crux of what I wanted to convey, the quality of teachers and the quality of teaching. That takes me directly to the attitude. Unless and until we have a global attitude in the teaching environment, mainly by the teachers, all these schools will just disappear like a bubble, soap bubble. Like a soap bubble, they will disappear. So the task in front of educators is to align. Over a period of time, get ready to face the NEP. Why? NEP is aiming at not like the what I call as the broiler chicken schools, but look at globalization. Today, what happened to those days in 1990s when India became LPG driven economy, liberalization, privatization and globalization, those companies which could not adopt themselves just disappeared. And those Indian companies which adopted and integrated became global companies. In future, there will be no Indian schools. Everything will be a global school. Every school will be a global school. I want to discuss this, linking this policy document with total quality management. I have successfully implemented TQM in more than 3 schools. With my humble experience, I would like to elaborate what it means to take a school from an ordinary school to a TQM school. Look forward to meeting you in the next episode.